The baby eater. When I was 5 months pregnant, I lived in a trailer park surrounded by neighbors, and to the right of me was a woman named Miss Kim, who was Filipino, and her husband, Mr. John, who was a white man. I was 19 and they were in their early 60s, and they were so wise. They were always coming over with food and offering advice. Especially when she found out I was pregnant, she would say, "You and baby need to eat." She kept me fed 24/7. She didn't want me doing anything while pregnant. If she saw me doing something like heavy lifting, she would come take over. One day I look out the window and I see Miss Kim pouring corns out on the front porch and the doorsteps, and I asked her why she was doing that. She said it was for the spirits, and towards the end of the month, we'll gather them up and give them to the neighborhood kids. I mean, tons of change, probably over $100 that she would give away every month. Around 6 months pregnant, I start having these really vivid nightmares about this big monster trying to get in the house and take my unborn baby. One of these monsters was big and had half a body. It looked like the top half had been ripped away from the bottom half. There was no butt or legs. It was only a head, shoulders, torso with a spine hanging out and big wings, and it flew around like that. Usually it had bat wings, but sometimes it had angel wings. It just depended on the nightmare. The worst part was I would dream that this thing would perch on the side of the trailer and stick its needle-like nose through the wall and pierce my belly and suck the baby out and eat it, and I could see this happening, but I couldn't move. I was like paralyzed. Sometimes I would wake up with that feeling on the back of my neck like it was standing right there. I felt like it was so close to me. These nightmares got so bad that I went to the doctor and they prescribed me Ambien, but I was too scared to take it because Ambien is a very strong medication, so I never took it. I went to Miss Kim to ask her what I could take that would be safe for the baby because she had a lot of knowledge on herbal remedies. I told her what I'd been dreaming about, and she said that's a meningog or a meningo. I can't pronounce it, but either way, it's a baby eater. It steals a baby from your womb. I know I butchered that word. It's been so long since I've heard it, so feel free to correct me in the comments. She said that needle you saw is not its nose, that's its tongue. That's how it sucks the baby out of you, and it uses that to pierce through walls and ceilings to get to you. But what was crazy to me was how she could explain my nightmares to me without me even telling her because she knew exactly what this was and what it was after. She said I can ease some of the nightmares, but they won't completely go away, but we'll have to do some things to protect the baby and scare this thing off. So she goes to the feed store and gets 2 big giant bags of pure salt and brings it home and pours it all the way around the trailer, every doorway, window, even threw it on the roof. And she gets a bunch of garlic out of her garden and puts it on thread and hangs it all around the house. She told me to sleep with garlic under my pillow and hold one in my hand and keep it with me at all times, so I did as much as I can remember to. She was up on the roof with a yardstick, put one of these things up over my bedroom, and it did ease my nightmares up. My nightmares went from very vivid and graphic to very hazy and not as often, and I started getting more sleep. Whatever she did helped my morning sickness too, no joke. And Miss Kim would tell me, don't go out at night or this thing will get you, but I didn't know if it was even real, and sometimes I had to go out at night because I had things to do. So one night we're coming back from a baby shower around 9:30 at night, and we pull up in the driveway. I'm dozing off, and I see this big winged creature flying around the trees, so I jump and say, "What the hell was that?" And my partner slammed on brakes and said, "You saw it too? I thought it was a giant buzzard. That thing was huge." But it was so dark, and it's in North Carolina. We didn't know if it was a big-ass bat, buzzard, or what it was, so we just sat in the car for a minute and waited. We pull up behind the house, and I look over and see Miss Kim and Mr. John standing on their back porch, and Miss Kim's holding a shotgun, and when I get out the car, she said, "I told you not to go out after dark. It's here. Get in the house." So I took off running in the house because I was scared. All 4 of us saw whatever it was flying around the trailer park that night. The next day, we come outside, and we find these big, tall bamboo sticks that have sharpened ends like big spears, and they've been jobbed down in the ground, so if anything lands on the trailer, it'll hit these spears first. Miss Kim and her husband had been out back cutting bamboo down in the woods, making spears out of them just in case this thing tried to land on one of our trailers. So now I'm 9 months pregnant, I'm miserable, and I'm laying in the recliner like, oh my God, baby, please come. And all of a sudden I hear boom, boom. And when we go out back, we see Miss Kim on her porch with a 410 shotgun shooting up in the air. She said she was shooting at the meningol because it was flying around our house. It always came back. One night he went out there and said, "I think that's a giant turkey. It's that big. The wingspan is huge," but he could never hit it. For the next few days, all the trailer park would hear is boom, 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 boom from her firing that gun all night, trying to keep this thing away. A lot of the neighbors got mad at her shooting at all times of the night, but she didn't care. She didn't stop. Some of the neighbors thought she was just crazy, but we did have another neighbor who was from Nigeria, and they believed in this thing too, but they called it by a different word, but I can't pronounce it. Finally, I had the baby and I came home, and by then she had taken up all the spears and the trinkets saying the meningol was gone, but she left the salt around the trailer because there were other things that could try to hurt us. She said, "If you see anything on top of your house, at the window, or at the foot of your bed, you let me know immediately." Miss Kim did not play, and she was all about helping others. Like, I loved having her as a neighbor. But a couple years later, Miss Kim and Mr. John went back to the Philippines because her family got sick and needed her help, and I missed her so much when they moved. She was all about her culture, her family, her children, and helping others. Just such a strong woman. I always looked up to her. I found out through an old neighbor that her and Mr. John passed away within 30 days of each other. They basically died together, and they were always so close it made sense.